We have now established that the Book of Enoch is genuinely ancient, that parts of it circulated within Jewish communities before the rise of Christianity, and that Ethiopian Christians preserved its complete text across many centuries. That makes the central mystery even more difficult to ignore. If this book is ancient, influential, and connected to the world of the New Testament, why is it absent from most Bibles? The popular answer is often that powerful church leaders deliberately removed it, but the historical story is far more complicated. To understand what happened, we must stop imagining that every ancient Jewish and Christian community began with one identical Bible, containing exactly the same table of contents. The books of the Bible were written across different periods, places, and languages. They circulated first as individual scrolls and smaller collections rather than as one completed volume. Jewish communities copied the Law, the Prophets, the Psalms, and other sacred writings, while early Christian communities copied the Gospels, apostolic letters, and books inherited from Israel. Certain writings received broad and lasting recognition across enormous geographical regions. Others were highly respected in particular communities, but questioned, neglected, or unknown elsewhere. Therefore, the question is not simply whether someone once removed Enoch from a universally accepted Bible. The more historically accurate question is whether First Enoch ever achieved universal recognition as Scripture in the first place. Within the Jewish tradition that eventually became Rabbinic Judaism, First Enoch was not included among the books recognized as the Hebrew Scriptures. Some ancient Jewish communities clearly valued Enochic writings, and the collection discovered near Qumran proves that at least one important community preserved multiple copies. But finding a religious book among the Dead Sea Scrolls does not automatically mean that every Jewish group regarded it as Scripture. The Qumran collection contained biblical manuscripts, interpretations, community rules, hymns, apocalyptic writings, and other texts. Its presence there proves that Enoch was ancient and significant, but it does not prove that it occupied the same position everywhere as Genesis, Isaiah, or the Psalms. Early Christians inherited this complicated literary world. Some of them knew Enoch, valued its prophecies, and used its ideas when discussing angels, judgment, and the corruption preceding the flood. But Christian recognition of the book was never uniform. Some writers treated it with great respect, while others questioned its authority or simply did not use it. As Christianity spread across regions speaking Greek, Latin, Syriac, Coptic, Armenian, Ge'ez, and other languages, communities developed within different manuscript traditions. A book might remain alive and authoritative in one branch of Christianity while gradually disappearing from another. This appears to be what happened with Enoch. There was also a practical problem. Books survive only when people continue copying them. Before printing presses, every manuscript required time, materials, training, and human labor. If a community stopped reading a work publicly, stopped translating it, or no longer considered it necessary for teaching, fewer copies were produced. Over centuries, wars, fires, decay, persecution, migration, and changing languages could cause a text to disappear from entire regions without anyone issuing a secret command to destroy it. First Enoch gradually vanished in its complete form from much of the Greek and Latin-speaking Christian world, while Ethiopian scribes continued transmitting it in Ge'ez. What looks from the modern perspective like a sudden disappearance was more likely a long and uneven process. Questions of authorship also influenced how communities judged the book. First Enoch speaks through the voice of the Enoch described in Genesis, but the surviving work appears to contain multiple sections written and collected across different periods. Ancient writers sometimes placed revelations in the voice of a respected figure from the distant past, allowing that figure to interpret history and announce divine judgment. For readers who believed the historical Enoch personally wrote these revelations, the book could carry extraordinary authority. For readers who regarded it as a later collection written under Enoch's name, its spiritual and historical value did not necessarily make it equal to the books they recognized as scripture. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church followed a different historical path. Within its broader canon, First Enoch continued to be received, copied, read, and interpreted as scripture. The Eritrean Orthodox Tewahedo Church shares this inheritance. Therefore, saying that Christians rejected Enoch is too broad. Many Christians did not receive it as canonical, but an ancient and living branch of Christianity did. Ethiopian believers did not recently add Enoch because of modern curiosity about fallen angels. They inherited it through a long-standing scriptural tradition. Any serious discussion must acknowledge that the boundaries of the biblical canon have not been identical in every Christian community. If you're enjoying this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share. This leads to one of the most frequently repeated claims about the book. Did Jesus quote Enoch? The Gospels contain ideas and expressions that resemble themes found in First Enoch, including angels, final judgment, the righteous inheriting glory, heavenly mysteries, and the coming of the Son of Man. These similarities are important because they show that Jesus taught within the rich religious world of Second Temple Judaism. However, similarity is not the same as direct quotation. Jesus and the authors behind Enoch drew upon many of the same Hebrew scriptures, symbols, expectations, and debates. Two teachers can use related language because they share a cultural and scriptural world without one necessarily reading a sentence from the other. Some comparisons are certainly intriguing. Jesus' teaching that resurrected people are like angels in heaven is sometimes compared with statements found in Enochic literature. His repeated use of the Son of Man is also compared with the majestic figure appearing in the Book of Parables. Yet these parallels remain debated, and the title Son of Man also grows directly from the Book of Daniel. The Gospels never record Jesus saying, "It is written in the Book of Enoch," nor do they clearly identify a sentence as a quotation from it. The responsible conclusion is not that Jesus certainly rejected Enoch, nor that he unquestionably treated it as scripture. The available evidence simply does not allow either claim to be stated with confidence. With Jude, however, the connection is much stronger. Jude identifies Enoch as the seventh from Adam and presents him prophesying that the Lord comes with countless holy ones to execute judgment upon the ungodly. This wording closely corresponds to a prophecy preserved near the beginning of First Enoch. The relationship is so direct that most scholars conclude Jude was drawing from an Enochic source, very likely the written tradition known to us as First Enoch. Jude does not merely mention a general story about Enoch. He uses a recognizable Enochic prophecy as part of his warning against corrupt and rebellious people. But Jude's use of the prophecy creates another question. If a New Testament writer quotes Enoch, does that make the entire Book of Enoch scripture? Not automatically. Biblical writers sometimes quoted or referred to sources outside the later biblical canon. Paul cited Greek poets when speaking to audiences familiar with their words. The Old Testament also mentions other ancient books that are not included in modern Bibles. A writer may use a statement because it is true, familiar, useful, or rhetorically powerful, without endorsing every sentence in the work from which it came. Jude's quotation proves that the Enochic tradition mattered to his argument. It does not, by itself, settle the canonical status of all 108 chapters of First Enoch. For scholars, First Enoch remains invaluable, even when it is not treated as scripture. It helps reconstruct the intellectual and religious world surrounding the New Testament. It reveals how some ancient Jews interpreted the strange sons of God passage in Genesis, imagined the structure of heaven, explained the spread of evil, expected the judgment of corrupt rulers, and hoped for the vindication of the righteous. It also gives context to themes found in Jude, 2 Peter, the Gospels, Revelation, and other early Jewish and Christian writings. Scholars continue debating the dates of individual sections, how the collection developed, and the precise relationship between Enochic traditions and New Testament language, but its historical importance is no longer seriously dismissed. So how should Christians approach the Book of Enoch today? The first step is honesty about one's own tradition. Ethiopian and Eritrean Orthodox Christians receive it within their Bible. Most Protestants, Roman Catholics, and Eastern Orthodox Christians do not. Readers should not pretend those differences do not exist. Christians outside traditions that canonize Enoch may still read it as an ancient Jewish witness to the world surrounding Scripture. It can illuminate difficult ideas, reveal how ancient interpreters wrestled with Genesis, and provide historical context for the New Testament. But it should not be used carelessly as a secret key that overturns every established Christian teaching. The Book of Enoch naturally attracts sensational claims because it contains angels, giants, heavenly journeys, forbidden knowledge, cosmic prisons, and visions of the end. Some readers use it to construct elaborate theories about extraterrestrials, hidden bloodlines, secret technologies, or conspiracies supposedly suppressed by the Church. But fascination is not the same as interpretation. A responsible reader must distinguish what the text actually says from modern theories imposed upon it. Enoch deserves neither fearful rejection nor unquestioning acceptance. It deserves careful reading, historical context, theological discernment, and respect for the different communities that have preserved or declined to canonize it. The final answer, then, is not that the entire Christian world once possessed Enoch and its Bible, and one secret council suddenly removed it. First Enoch was ancient, influential, and valued by some Jews and early Christians, but it never received universal acceptance across Judaism or Christianity. Its authorship was disputed, its circulation became uneven, and complete copies disappeared from many regions. Ethiopian Christianity preserved it as scripture, while most other traditions developed without it as part of their canon. Jude's quotation confirms its influence, but it does not force every Christian tradition to recognize the entire collection as inspired scripture. The mystery is real, but the truth is historical, complicated, and far more interesting than a simple conspiracy. If this investigation helped you understand the Book of Enoch more clearly, subscribe to the channel, like this episode, and share it with someone who has ever wondered why this ancient book is missing from most Bibles. Then tell us in the comments, do you believe writings outside your biblical canon can still help Christians understand Scripture, history, and the world of the apostles? And which ancient book, biblical mystery, or misunderstood passage would you like us to investigate in a future series? Check out our other video summaries and research and share your suggestions. They may help determine where the journey takes us next. But before we leave Enoch, we must confront the story that made this book famous. Who were the mysterious Watchers? Were they the sons of God who appear without explanation in Genesis chapter 6? Why does First Enoch claim that 200 heavenly beings descended upon Mount Hermon, bound themselves together by an oath, took human wives, and revealed knowledge that humanity was never meant to possess? Their actions would produce giants, corrupt the earth, fill the world with violence, and provoke a judgment so severe that even the rebellious angels would beg Enoch to intercede for them. Were these beings literal angels who crossed the boundary between heaven and earth? Were the Nephilim their enormous offspring? What was the forbidden knowledge they gave humanity?
And why do Jude and 2 Peter also speak of angels who sinned, abandoned their proper place, and were imprisoned for judgment? In the next episode, we will follow the story back to Genesis, examine what First Enoch adds to it, compare the major interpretations, and investigate the rebellion that Enoch says changed the ancient world forever.
Now that we know why the Book of Enoch is controversial, the next mystery is no longer about the book itself. It is about the beings whose story the book claims to reveal. The Watchers descended from heaven, humanity welcomed what they brought, and according to Enoch, the world was never the same again.